Good morning. Okay, let's get started. This is the second video in a series on interest. Okay, and just really quickly, if you haven't seen the first on simple interest, this is going to be on compound interest, which a lot of investors call magic, because compound interest, unlike simple interest, is interest on interest. Okay, and this will make more sense. Some of you know it already. We've talked about this, but it becomes important because you can talk about population growth. You can talk about, and I mean population of not just people, but microbes in a petri dish. So there's many applications. Okay, so if you recall simple interest, it's the formula I equals PRT, where I is the interest, P is what you start with, the principal, R is the rate, okay, that you're either making or being charged. T is the term. T is the time. You know, we're used to seeing. But when you talk about loans and when you talk about investing, you usually use the word term. Okay, so let's talk about this idea of compounding. Okay, I said a minute ago that compounding in compound interest is interest on interest. So let's do something simple. Let's say you borrow, like we did with the simple interest formula. We say you borrow $100. Okay. Now, at the end of a certain term that you borrow this $100, you're going to end up with an accumulation of, in this case, debt. DEBT, debt. You're not making money. It's not accumulation of money that you're making. Let's pretend that you're charging something on a credit card, or your mom or dad buy a used car and they take out a used car loan. Well, anyway, let's make it simple. Let's just say $100. Okay. All right. Now, when we talk about compound interest, you're gonna be charged money to borrow money. I mean, this is how bankers make their money. This is how companies make their money. They have money to lend. You need money to borrow. Okay. Now let's stick with something easy like 5%. That's what we did with the simple interest video. Let's say, okay, they're going to charge you 5% on this $100. Okay. Well, with the simple interest, all right, it would be PRT. I think the simple interest video we used 3 years. So you multiply this 5% of $100 is $5. Okay. Well, times 3 would be $15. So at the end of 3 years, you'd have to pay interest of $15, and added that to the $100 that you borrowed. Okay, you have to pay that back. So you'd have to pay back a total of $115. Now, compound interest, different. With the compound interest formula, you've got the money that you borrowed. Okay, well, I'm putting 1 in here to represent that money borrowed, plus the rate 5%, which is 0.05, right? Okay, notice that when we multiply this, it's 100 plus 5, or $105. Okay, that's if it's just 1 year. Okay, that's just the first year. But let's look at this after 2 years. Okay, here's the $100. There's the 0.05 rate. Okay, but we're doing this for 2 years now, so we have to multiply this again by, because remember, this is going to give us $105, but we've got to multiply that $105. That's what this is going to give us, $105. We've got to multiply that again by 0.05 because he had the loan for 2 years. And it's still $5. They're not increasing it, they're not decreasing it. So you've got to take 0.05 times this, okay, which is going to be, I don't know, maybe 25 cents.